Welcome to the BlackTrack, where I do commentary and review movies with an all-black cast or at least a black lead. If I ask you, what's the opposite of no money, and you don't reply with,
more money, more money, more money,
then I'm sorry, but we can no longer be friends. Mo Money is a 1992 comedy about a pair of underachieving con artists who live each day by the next hustle. That is until one of them, Johnny Stewart, decides he wants to do something else with his life after meeting the woman of his dreams, played by Stacey Dash, back when she was not only invited to the cookout, but she probably brought the potato salad. And people ate it. Johnny Stewart is played by Damon Wayans, who also wrote the story for the movie. For some reason, I always thought this movie was directed by his brother Keenan, but I was mistaken. It was actually directed by a guy named Peter McDonald, who also directed Rambo 3. And that fact will explain a lot about the decisions that were made in the making of Mo Money, as you'll soon see. Mo Money is very loosely based on the Homeboy Shopping Network, which was a recurring skit that goes all the way back to the first season of the sketch comedy show In Living Color. Originally on the show, it was Keenen Ivory and Damon Wayans trying to sell stolen goods on TV in a parody of the Home Shopping Network. And Mo Money takes that concept, changes pretty much everything about it, and tries to extend it into an hour-and-a-half movie, replacing Keenan with their younger brother Marlon. Can a sketch comedy skit that's usually only 3 minutes be stretched over an hour and do enough to make me give it a good grade in 2022? Let's BlackTrack and find out. Well, damn, if I came into this movie blind and didn't know anything about it up front, I'd swear it was an action movie instead of a comedy. This random guy here becomes the victim of the worst road rage incident I've ever seen that ends with this big Mack truck getting parked right up his ass. Hey, did this plan really rely on him turning his car to the side, or did y'all just get incredibly lucky? Jeez, I hope he's okay after all that.
He's still alive.
Okay, cool then. Alright, well, moving on. This weird action start to the movie sets the wrong tone if you ask me, and it takes way too long to find out how it all ties into the rest of the film. Mo Money really should have started right here, with Seymour Stewart trying to sell a totally not stolen TV to this fat guy here. Seymour is played by Marlon Wayans, and he's the little brother of Johnny Stewart. Even though Marlon was in I'm Gonna Get You Sucker as a background character, this was his first movie role with actual dialogue, so I pretty much consider this his first movie. They get up to the floor where the TV is supposed to be, and the door is answered by none other than Anton Jackson. Man, I love Anton Jackson. He's another one of those Damon Wayans characters from In Living Color. As you'll see, this movie is basically Damon Wayans playing every single role that he's ever played in In Living Color. One glance into this spacious and affordable crack den should have told this guy that this TV was too good to be true, but he finds out the hard way and tries to chase the Stewart brothers down once he sees they've dropped the act. A hell of a foot chase ensues, and you can see the action movie influence that I talked about earlier all throughout this scene. It culminates in Johnny getting arrested for jumping the turnstile and trying to escape into a subway. Damn, is skipping payment on the metro really an arrestable offense? I don't have any subways or trains where I live, so somebody is gonna have to let me know. Ah yes, Hollywood jail. If House Party taught us anything, it's that a holding cell in the movie is equivalent to hard prison, complete with the ever-present danger of being anally raped in front of the whole lockup. At least in this case, it's just one guy, and not like 6 of them like in House Party. It's easy for Johnny to take on this one guy before being conveniently bailed out by Officer Walsh here. Why would Lieutenant Walsh go out of his way to help Johnny, you ask? Well, because Johnny's father was a cop, and Walsh was his partner. So I guess he feels like he owes it to Johnny's father to look after him since he's gone. A criminal having a cop as a father sounds about on code. They're second only to kids or preachers when it comes to getting in trouble. Hey, I like Damon Wayans and all, and he's the most talented Wayans brother in my opinion, but he absolutely cannot show emotion. He always has the same look on his face like it would kill him to show some feelings. Just call him Johnny Same Face. I'm assuming as part of his probation, Johnny has to sell these children's books, but it feels to me like he was set up to fail, because this doesn't look like the type of environment where these kind of books will sell. Case in point, as soon as Seymour gives up the books and starts his playing card scam, look how quick the people flock to him. I guess there's some hidden commentary there. Johnny is thinking, you know what? Jail ain't so bad. That is until Amber shows up in his life.
I wish I had an ice cream. It'll look just like you. Sweet tasting chocolate, good all the way through. I'd lick it slow from head to toe.
You're fresh.
Forget his early 1990s pickup lines though. Why did movies during this time feel like the saxophone was the only instrument appropriate when they wanted to show something or somebody sexy?
For you, free, take it.
Nothing in America is free.
I guess a flute or a trumpet or a tuba doesn't have the same energy. Oh, now you want to work. Booty really is the great motivator. Let the record show that Johnny never even thought about getting a job until he saw Amber, so let that be a lesson to you future employers. You need people to work for you? Well, you attract more flies with honeys. I feel like with this movie, Damon Wayans wanted to give a lot of his comedy buddies small cameos, because it's filled with a bunch of goofy one-off characters that come out of nowhere and deliver some quick and silly improv never to be seen again. There was the guy in jail with Johnny earlier, telling a story about how he choked out his girlfriend.
Had that little bitch by the neck like this, right? Started twisting it till it snapped.
The Reverend Pimp Daddy, who represented Johnny in court.
Your Honor, allow me to fumigate my wisdom on the defendant.
This woman who almost throws up on Johnny.
Next.
And then there's this jittery guy who's doing the interview.
This is your correct telephone number, isn't it?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Good.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
If Putting All Your Friends On was a movie, it's this one. Of course he gets the job, and he shows up dressed about how I'd expect a dude on probation to show up to a new job, looking fresh out of city trends. But that's not important. What's important is that Johnny is not even halfway through orientation before he gets sexually harassed and assaulted.
Hi, Johnny, baby.
Oh, by the way, that's Charlotte. Come on.
What are you doing for lunch?
Working?
On who? Hi. Got the most beautiful lips that I've ever seen.
Oh, really?
Hi, Johnny, baby.
Hey, what's up, Charlotte?
Listen, I'm going to the bar right down the street. You want to come?
It's funny, none of this seemed particularly uncomfortable to me in 1992, but now it's all kinds of cringe. The Joker has nothing on this woman's smile. Her name is Charlotte, and of course she's played by another In Living Color alumni named Alma Yvonne. Gee, it sure would have been better if we didn't already know this guy was the bad guy. I mean, his face, with this shit-eating grin, kind of gives it away, but the movie should still make you work for its reveals. Anyway, this is Keith Heading, and he's the head of security. Shows how much attention I paid back in the day, because I always thought he was the CEO or something. Keith is not above a little assault himself, but it ain't sexual. Well, depends on your perspective, I guess. The mailroom boss is talking a little too much about that little murder the other day, and Keith has to remind him what happens to people who talk. We drive trucks up their ass. Is it just me, or does Stacey Dash look a lot darker in this movie than she does in real life? With everything going on at the office, it's almost easy to forget why Johnny got the job in the first place. I do find it funny though, that after filling out the application, getting an interview, getting the job, and going through training, she waits until the end of his first day to tell him that she has a boyfriend. Ain't that a bitch? That doesn't deter Johnny though, and I must say, I kinda admire his persistence.
I wanted to ask you to marry me. Can I get down on one knee? Please?
I don't think my boyfriend would like that.
Oh, you got a boyfriend and things. All right. Cool, we'll let him be the best man.
I don't think so.
Man, he's killing it with the pickup lines. It takes me back to a time when you had to be clever and have a way with words to get women's attention. Man, I've always hated this dude in movies. He always plays an arrogant, egotistical douchebag. His name is Harry Lennox, and it's like he was born to play these roles. He's so much of an asshole in this movie that it's starting to come through on his chin. The 5 Heartbeats was the only time he was kinda cool, but we'll get back to that later. In this movie, he's Amber's boyfriend, and he doesn't take too kindly to her talking to the commoners. He's not above putting them paws on somebody over her either, which is evidenced by him getting up in Johnny's face for being within 50 feet of Amber. To be fair, Johnny is bold as hell for following this woman and her boyfriend around and into restaurants.
Why am I being so insecure? He can't afford you, right, Amber?
Sheesh. I guess it's no secret why your name is Tom in this movie. And look, you done hurt Johnny's same face feelings. Can't you see the raw emotion in his face? Getting your card pulled like that makes you realize that you need your own card to pull. That sounds like a job for a con artist. Good thing his boss gave him that convenient exposition dump earlier, telling Johnny exactly how he can scam the credit cards that come through the mailroom. With unlimited disposable income in hand, Johnny decides to test it out by buying some jewelry for Amber, and somewhere on the top 3 things you can no longer do in a movie is this scene where Johnny and Seymour pose as a gay married couple.
Haircut. Excuse me, husband. What you doing talking to me?
Sometimes I feel like a nut, and sometimes I don't.
Well, sometimes I feel like slapping the shit out of you, and right now I do. So anyways.
I gotta say, these dudes have no shortage of gimmicks to get money. This should have been the central plot of the whole movie, because this is where most of the comedy is. The funny thing is, he went through all of that to get Amber something to win her love, and he didn't even need it. The mailroom boss clearly didn't listen to what Keith was saying, or take the threat of being rear-ended by a truck seriously, because he talked to the cops and carried on with life like it was nothing. Well, Keith 316 says do unto others as they do unto you, and the mailroom boss gets stabbed in the back and left for dead. This leaves an opening at the job, and guess who gets it?
Jonathan Stewart will be Chris's replacement as mailroom supervisor. Good luck.
But that's only after it's revealed that Keith knows that Johnny has been spending all that credit card money. Damn, 1 step forward, 2 steps back. It's about here where Mo Money starts to lose me. I never really understood the whole complicated scheme of spending money to make money and how it tied into this illegal luxury car scam that Keith had going on. I watched it back like 3 times and I still don't understand what the scheme is, or maybe I just don't want to understand what it is because it ain't important. What is important is that Keith wants Johnny to keep spending money to make everything look legit. And you know the best way to spend money in a short amount of movie time? That's right, you guessed it, musical montage. We get Johnny buying glass animals for no other reason but that he can. He gets a new whip, buys rare art, fancy spam dinners, and he can afford nice walks on the beach. Plus, I never noticed this before, but there's also a throwaway scene that shows that Amber's ex-boyfriend got him a new white woman. Even Charlotte found herself a willing partner. That part kind of throws me off, because a few scenes later, we see her end up in the bed with Seymour after he gets drunk at the club. Has there ever been a more opportunistic and predatory female in cinematic history than Charlotte? I don't think so. She's a savage. The party doesn't last long though, once Amber starts questioning where Johnny's newfound riches come from, which is justified, because you work in the mailroom, dude. Johnny's same face goes to tell Keith that he wants out, which takes massive gorilla balls knowing dude's history. Unfortunately, he doesn't get home quickly enough to warn Seymour not to use the card anymore, and he gets declined at the jewelry store. He probably would have gotten away with it if he wasn't in the middle of the most crowded mall in the world. Look how he gets taken down though. That can't be regulation. In real life, he'd be taken into custody and given probation or something. But he happened to be arrested by the dumbest cops in the world, and without even a little bit of investigation or research, they send Seymour into a sting operation to try to catch Keith slipping. How dumb is that? Keith doesn't even know this dude or have a relationship with him. Why would he open up to him? Especially when he's being so pushy about it.
Jesus Christ! Who authorized this sting?
That's what I'm asking. It's at this point that Mo Money drops all pretense of being a comedy and goes straight action. That's not an exaggeration. Seymour gets kidnapped, and Johnny and Amber go to rescue him at the office and end up in a shootout. Keith gets taken down, but he comes back like the Terminator and leads Johnny on a high-speed chase through the city, culminating in a fight down at what I think is a salt mine. Man, this is so out of place, and this is clearly the director's expertise. Some of the action in this movie rivals a low-down dirty shame, and I think it was a missed opportunity that Damon didn't have a crossover movie with his brother. Call it Money and Shame. I think that goes perfect together. Even the way Keith dies just changes the whole tone of the film. You go to watch a funny movie to take your mind off things, and it ends with a man being hung from a conveyor belt. Hey, at least they added a postscript where Johnny gets the girl, and there's a little more Charlotte hijinks. But wait a minute, was Stacey Dash always holding like this? My lord. You know what, guys? She did say she was sorry about all the things she said about black people. I think we might should forgive her. What do you think? Think about it for a second while I get to the grade. Mo Money is legitimately laugh out loud funny, and even though the characters are just an extension of In Living Color characters, they're used in a way that ties directly into the story that the movie is trying to tell. It sucks then that No Money decides to muddy the waters with unnecessary action. I think I understand the motive behind it. They probably thought that a black comedy movie couldn't carry itself alone without some kind of hook, so they brought on an action movie director to try to liven things up. The problem with that is that it comes across like 2 directors or 2 writers clashing. It's unfortunate that this movie came out 3 years before Friday, because that movie proved that a black movie can completely be carried by comedy without anything else needed to sell the concept. Mo Money would have been just fine with the story of 2 con artists getting into a bunch of trouble and using different characters and schemes to get out of it. And a little bit of comedy we did get was very competent and hilarious, even if some of it doesn't age well. My grade for Mo Money is a C+. Despite its inconsistent tone, Mo Money is a fun movie to watch for its consistent comedy. And that does it for this episode of the BlackTrack. As usual, let me know what you thought about the movie Mo Money in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And until next time, I'll holla at you.